condition of material existence is not only felt when we come out of the womb of the mother, but is also felt within the womb. Miserable life begins from the moment the living entity begins its contact with this material body. Unfortunately, if we forget this experience and do not make miseries of birth very seriously, do not take miseries of birth very seriously. In Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is specifically mentioned that one should be very alert to understand the specific difficulties of birth and death. Just as during the formation of this body, we have to pass through so many difficulties within the womb of the mother, at the time of death, there are also many difficulties. As described in the previous chapter, one has to transmigrate from one body to another, and the transmigration into bodies of dogs and hogs is especially miserable. But despite such miserable conditions, due to the spell of Maya, we forget everything and become enamored by the present so-called happiness, which is described as actually no more than a counteraction of distress. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So this chapter is titled The Movements of the Living Entities. And it reveals the development of the embryo from the time the sperm and the embryo mix, and the sperm carries a soul which is destined by higher arrangement to take birth in that species, in that particular womb, as a child of those particular parents. After the sperm and ovum mix, it is said that the fifth night the mixture ferments into a bubble. On the 10th night it develops into a form like a plum, and it gradually turns into a lump of flesh. In the course of a month, head is formed, and at the end of 2 months, the hands, feet, and other limbs take shape. By the end of 3 months, the nails, fingers, toes, body, hair, bones, and skin appear. As to the organ of generation and other apertures in the body, namely the eyes, nostrils, ears, mouth, anus. Within 4 months from the date of conception, the 7 essential ingredients of the body come into existence. At the end of 5 months, hunger and thirst makes themselves felt. End of 6 months, it begins to move on the right side of the abdomen. And it gets its nutrition and food and drink taken by the mother, and it resides in this abominable residence of stool and urine, which is a breeding ground for all kinds of worms. Beaten again and again by the worms all over the body, the tender body, by the hungry worms, the child suffers so much pain that it becomes unconscious moment to moment because of the terrible condition. So this, Prabhupada says, unfortunately we forget this experience and do not take the miseries of birth very seriously. Miseries of death, we may see many people going into coma, unconscious, many people suffering extreme pain on the bed. That is quite a sight. If you go to any hospital, you will see the miseries of death. The body gives different kinds of pain, and in the same manner, during the birth also it is described here that it undergoes great suffering because of the biting of the worms, hungry worms, the tender body of the fetus. Already it has developed consciousness, so it experiences pain. And it is amazing that how these different body parts start from the mixing of the sperm and ovum, turning into a bubble, then into a lump of flesh, and then the flesh separates itself into different bodily parts, and how the different kinds of 7 ingredients of the body are generated out of that flesh itself. And ultimately the child becomes sensitive with all his senses, especially the skin, where these worms bite mercilessly, the hungry worms. Now these are all not philosophy. Is this philosophy? No, these are facts. People think that Srimad Bhagavatam is simply a philosophical text. No, it is a text of truth. Philosophy is one type of truth. But there are so many gross truths, subtle truths, laws of material nature. These are all very much part of Srimad Bhagavatam. 5,000 years back, when there were no electron microscope and kind of finer equipments, how could they say that when the heart beats and when each of these, at which end of which month the nails, fingers, toes, these things manifest? How they knew all these things? Exactly on the 10th night it develops into a form of a plum. This is due to the power of the sages to see through higher intelligence and higher sensual perception what exactly is going on within the womb of a mother. As Prabhupada says, today modern medical science will corroborate all these things. In fact, some of the facts mentioned in these description of embryology, the exact time when different functions begin in the embryo, when that is all described also in medical science. All medical students, they read something called Gray's Anatomy. It's a standard text which has been studied by Gray's Anatomy has been studied since probably 50 years. It's a textbook for all medical students. They've been updated now and then. There's a devotee who did some research in Bhaktivedanta Institute long back and wrote down all the things that this chapter says about the living entities, movements, and when, what begins when, formation, everything. Then compared it with Gray's Anatomy, and there were 2-3 mistakes in Gray's Anatomy. How do you know that is mistakes? They know it is mistake because the original Gray's Anatomy said something, and then the latest one, because of the discovery of electron microscope, they could more accurately find out when the heartbeat starts. So they changed the text, the original text, to update. But that exact month or the day in which different things happen is described, is already in Srimad Bhagavatam, described Vyasadeva 5,000 years back. So just see the validity of every truth that is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very important for students of Srimad Bhagavatam to take away from their mind the default understanding that this is only a text of philosophy. It is not. It talks about embryology, it talks about cosmology, about the universe, universal structure. In embryology, the different anatomy of the human body, how these things are all developing. It is by the design of the Supreme Lord. It by His design, by His supreme intelligence, everything in this material world is happening. And this material world is also a glory of the Lord. It is an opulence of the Lord. It is the intelligence of the Lord. And it is not Maya, as the Mayavadis say. Thus, the authority of the Puranas cannot be disproved, as is sometimes attempted by the Mayavada philosophers. Mayavada philosophers specifically, they say that the Upanishads are all talking about the truth. The Puranas are not talking about the truth, they are all stories. So that is why Prabhupada is using this statement. The statement of Markandeya Purana about the child situation within the womb is exactly corroborated by modern medical science. And thus the authority of the Puranas cannot be disproved, as is sometimes attempted by Mayavada philosophers. So, according to Mayavada philosophers, the Upanishad text, the Vedas, among the Veda, within the Vedas, the Upanishad texts, they are all talking about the absolute truth. But the Puranas, which are outside the Vedas, they are all stories and imaginary descriptions, etc. They don't give much value to it as texts of absolute truth. But these are, even according to modern scientific findings, they are dealing with truth itself. So the impersonalist or the Mayavadist tendency is to give no value to the material creation, to give no, because they don't want to give credit to an intelligent person who has created these things. Because they don't fit God as a person in their scheme of things. When God as a person, it cannot be fit in their scheme of things, in their worldview. Where is the value for appreciating the material creation? There is no value to it. They cannot explain why the material world exists, why human birth exists, death exists, why different species of lives exist on this earth. They have to give a reason. They give no reason for it, just by saying it is Maya. But whereas the Vaishnava philosophy is more complete, it explains exactly why these things are there. And nothing special. This material world is also a real world of the Lord. Only in this world He does not show Himself up, that's all. The spiritual world, His influence is everywhere. And very obviously it is there in terms of bhakti relationship, every part with the whole. In the material world also, this is also spiritual world. There is no difference. Getting the human body and perceiving these varieties of life, having intelligence to understand this material world, is almost like being in Vaikuntha. Experientially. No doubt this material world is, in terms of substance, it is unreal. Because there is no varieties in this material world as it is showing. Table, chair, male, female, these varieties are all illusion coming out of an undifferentiated single truth called material energy, pradhana. So we read into this material energy so many things. And that is Maya, that is illusion. But the material energy is created. The material energy is an active energy of the Lord, which produces table, chair, floor, male, female, all those varieties of Panchabhuta, varieties of Sukshma Sharira, is all material energy produces it. It is not, it is all created or produced in our head. Actually, there is nothing here. What you see is all you have created in your head. This is not the fact. The Lord, as an external creator, as a creator of the external world, He has created, independent of your mind, what you think, what you don't think. This exists, all these things exist. Shrishti Pralaya, Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya. It goes on as a cycle. The material energies of the Lord. And the living entity in this material world, they read different things into this material varieties, which resemble the spiritual world. Because in the spiritual world, there are trees, there are rivers, there are males, there are females, there are beautiful things, and there are relationship. All these things are there in the spiritual world. So in the material world, also all these things are there, but these things are not real trees, real mountains, they are not real rivers, they are not real female, real male, etc. In the spiritual world, every object is irreducible, because it is an entity in itself. A table is a table person. A tree is a tree person. It's not that it is reducible. It's not that you cut a tree and then you see inside the branch, then you see some protoplasm flowing in, and all those things is not there. Everything is an chit vastu, chinmaya vastu in the spiritual world. That chinmaya vastu world is what is reflected in this material world in these varieties. That means there is a design. Somebody has designed out of Panchabhuta and Sukshma Sharira elements, Manas Buddhi, 8 elements, out of 8 elements, somebody has designed this material energy in such a way when the living entities look into it and read through their mind, it will appear like it is spiritual varieties. Spiritual world. So here we lead life with relationship, we seek life of rasa in this material world. Different kinds of rasa, different kinds of ananda, happiness and pleasures we seek in this material world. That is the nature of the soul. How do they seek through these varieties? Because why? Originally in the spiritual world, that is how we are. We are rasa seeking. We are ananda seeking and rasa seeking. But our ananda and rasa are integrated with Krishna's rasa and ananda. All the ananda, that pleasure and happiness in the spiritual world is inclusive of Krishna's pleasure and and happiness. In the material world, the living entities try to enjoy happiness and pleasure by excluding the pleasure of Krishna. That is the difference between the pleasure in the material world and in the spiritual world. The pleasure in the material world appears to be pleasure only experientially, but it not really. There is pleasure does not come out of any object as such, sense object as such. It is only set up. Pleasure is not caused by sense objects in this material world. The pleasure experience itself is not caused by the sense objects. Somehow by associating with the sense object through due to various other reasons, including the last factor of Paramatma, you feel pleasure experience in the material world. Because there is pleasure in the material world. But that because as a pleasure, as an experience, as it is there in the material world. And that experience is given by this super soul, not by the sense objects. But somehow our mind gives it confuses causation with correlationship. Somehow sense object, because of my association with sense object, I got pleasure. Therefore, that's a correlationship. That doesn't mean that sense object caused pleasure. Isn't it? Just like in medicine, they say so many things. Oh, this is caused, vitamin deficiency of this has caused this disease, they'll say. But that is only how do they say that? Because they took 100 people and they found out their particular vitamin deficiency and they correlated with the instances of that particular disease, and therefore they say that this is causing, vitamin deficiency is causing this. But is it correct? Is it correct? You see the difference between correlation and causation. Causation is different, correlationship is different. Just because it is correlated, we think it causes. In the same way, there could be so many other causes that could be just coincidental also. That may not be lead to cause at all. So this often happens in science also. In pure science, scientists are very, very careful. When they do research, that's why they say medical science, these are all not sciences. There is a difference between pure science and science. Normally, medical science, this science, that science, they say that. But they don't accept. The pure science doesn't accept. This pure science says it should actually be the cause. If I throw this piece of metal, then that force should be the direct cause. I can connect that with the cause. It's not a correlationship. So something happens here, and then something they observe here, and they correlate, this caused this. So the medical science is full of correlationship, but not causation. They don't study cause. They cannot study cause because they're very complicated. To say why something happens on small, clot happens in the brain, they cannot go into the cause. They say this is the cause and they stop all the causes, still clot happens. That means something else was there. Now Maya uses this particular thing, weakness of our mind, correlationship to be mistaken to be causation. So sense objects actually are not the cause of pleasure. Are not the cause of pleasure. That is why Prabhupada says that there is no pleasure or happiness in the material energy. Even happiness, he says, which is described as actually no more than counteraction to distress. So this is a very fundamental thing that the spiritualist understands, that matter, whichever way you combine, cannot produce pleasure, because pleasure is a symptom of spirit. It is not causing. Because we think sense object is causing, we become servant of the senses. In spite of all the factors put together, finally pleasure can be experienced only because of Govinda in the heart. The Lord is in the heart. He gives the experience of pleasure. So understanding this truth from the descending process, not by research, descending process, there is no pleasure in matter, gross matter or subtle matter. But somehow I am experiencing pleasure, momentary pleasure. So how do you say there is no pleasure? The fact is that there is no pleasure in matter, but yet I am experiencing pleasure. You are just correlating what really causes pleasure in the spiritual world. Here you are pasting it on matter, but the actual pleasure is not coming from the matter, it is coming from the super soul. So therefore it is called illusory pleasure. Illusory pleasure, because I am thinking it is coming from that sense object, but actually it is not coming from the sense object. Sense object themselves are pleasureless. It's just a correlationship. Krishna creates that correlationship. Just like in standard experiments in psychology, they have this experiment where a rat is put in a cage, and there is a red platform and there is a green platform. And whenever the rat jumps on the red platform, one piece of food will fall from the ceiling. Then the rat immediately enjoys it. When it jumps on the green platform, food doesn't fall at all. So the rat community of scientists will all gather together and publish a paper. What is published? The green platform, jumping on the green platform causes, or red platform causes food. Causes food to fall. And it's a big theory. And it will be very consistent. Not even once the scientist in his experiment, he will make that, because pakka experiment he wants to do, no? So he will do pakka. Every time it jumps on the red platform, food will fall. So they create a law. Red platform produces food. What is it? It is only a correlation. It is not a causation. Similarly, all the pleasures that we experience is a correlation. It is not a causation. A spiritualist should have full faith that matter cannot give pleasure. Matter has no pleasure in it. What I experience pleasure is what that is dropped by Paramatma. Just like the experimenter dropped the food, In the same way, super soul drops that, and you experience that. So, it's a very good point for us to think. Nowadays, scientists are between pure scientist and approximate sciences like medical science and all. The pure scientists ridicule these things. Okay, maybe useful for life. What do you know? You don't know you don't know truth at all. Pure scientist. They don't, biochemists, all these things. You guys are all approximate. Chemistry is pure. Physics is pure. Because they are very strict in their method to find causation. What the direct cause. So, but the same scientists also, in order to come up with theories, how things work, they also use correlationship. Using correlationship only, they create theories. But pure science, what they say, this theory has to be tested independently. It may look very exciting correlationship, but don't believe it. This is the strictness of pure physics and all those things. So many experimental correlationship are there, but this correlationship experiment is different, and the experiment to decide what is the cause of another thing is different. They differentiate these two kinds of experiments. Any questions? जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.